So I'm going to be replacing the old axle here from my King Quad. And what had happened was I went to another mud bog somewhere and got yarn, string or rope or something all wrapped up in the OEM boot that come with it. And because this is more of like a hard plastic, and so when something got wrapped around it, it just crunched it all up. So I tried replacing I took the shaft out, the axle out, tried replacing it with this other rubber boot, and the ones, instead of coming with like a clamp like the OEMs come with, they give you something like this, and it just, I don't know, I couldn't get it to stay. Anyway, it wound up coming off and getting dirt and stuff in there, so I'm just going to replace it now. And I'm going to try this East Lake axle here. Seen some pretty good reviews. Really hadn't seen too much bad on them, and this is about $85 or so. A lot better brands out there, but seen people with this one, so I'm going to try this one. So this is what I'm going to be doing today. All I've done so far was I just took the tire and the spacer off. Probably don't really need to see that. Now I'm fixing to start. I'm just going to take this castle nut off and go ahead and just take the axle shaft out and replace it. So the castle nut is a 30 millimeter. That's what I have here. Just gonna pull that off. Pull this out. Pretty simple. Just gonna set that to the side. These right here is a 14 millimeter. This one is a 14 millimeter. And this one is actually a 12 millimeter on this side. What I'm talking about here is when one was a 12 millimeter and one was a 14. Each of the bolts, one bolt goes in on the top like this, and the other one goes in like this. So basically the nut that goes on, the nut that goes on is a 14, but the bolt head is a 12. So I just kind of wanted to make that note in here, because I said that the top was a 14 and the bottom was a 12. But actually what I'm saying is that the bolt side, the bolt is actually a 12, because for some reason one's turned this way and on the bottom it's turned that way. So anyway, the nut is actually a 14 mil. Bolt is actually a 12. So quick edit there. And if you notice, they are two different sizes. One's on top, one on the bottom's a little bit longer. Hopefully that'll stay. And then take it out and then just pull that off like that. Just set this to the side for right this minute. Then you're just gonna pull the old, give it a little bit of a push, and pull this thing out. There it comes. Yeah, this thing was toast. So you can see that it's about the same thickness. Turn that around. And yes, you want to drain your rear diff fluid before you do it. It doesn't really matter. I'll just have to clean it up, but you can drain the rear diff fluid. Then just take your new shaft, or new axle, push it in like that. One thing to note, this castle nut is smaller the one that comes on here is a little bit smaller. It's a 27, I believe. Yeah, 27 millimeter for this one. Now, since you have this out, it's probably a good time to kind of check your bearing in here, the wheel bearing. And I've already greased this wheel bearing one time with a greaser. And matter of fact, I'll probably show you that. These are the one's for the front and one's for the rear, but I had to really modify these to make these work, the ones I ordered. And because I couldn't get, even though it says it fits, I still had to modify these a little bit to try to get, and it really honestly didn't work all that great, but it worked enough to grease these. And everything feels nice and smooth in there. If you wanted to grease them, be a good time to do it. I'm going to take a little pick and just kind of clean this off a little bit before I put it back on. And you want to take these caps off and just check in here. If you want to grease these, go ahead and you could grease them. And then putting it back on is pretty much just the opposite. You want to put oops. Just remember the longer one goes at the bottom. Now, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. So I've got a bunch of grease here. Put that back on like that. One thing I don't think this come with was a cotter pin. So you'll tighten these back down to spec, which I have a manual. Let's see. Let me look real quick. Okay, according to the manual, you want to tighten these up to 44 foot-pounds. And then at least with the castle nut on the old one, it was to 89 foot-pounds. So tighten them up to spec. And put your wheel back on. And that's it. You're done. Really not hard at all to do the rear, to swap out the axle. So that's it. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll try to have some more stuff up.